Did you see the report from Woj?
Yes.
What is your reaction to that?
I mean, you can't get bottled up into that. You know, it's what it is.
The Washington Wizards have started their 2019-2018 season very, very poorly. Kicking off the season with a 5-11 record, things for the Washington Wizards are not looking very bright. Just earlier today, November 19th, we got reports from major reliable sources such as Adrian Wojnarowski that the Wizards were finally coming around to the idea of trading both of John Wall and Bradley Beal, or one of the two. As a Raptors fan, I'm not a huge fan of either of those players, but I cannot help but recognize their talent and that they're both very good players. But as a team, as a duo, they do not mesh very well. That has been very evident by the past few seasons they've been together. In my opinion, if the Wizards are going to move on from one of the two, I believe it's going to be John Wall. I know that John Wall is currently the better player, but I believe that Bradley Beal is younger and has a better contract than John Wall, meaning that if I'm the Wizards and I'm trying to rebuild the team, I'm more likely to go on with the younger player who has more potential in a few years. In today's video, we're going to be looking at one trade that to me just seems like it is the most likely to happen for John Wall. This trade will benefit both teams, and you guys are going to take a look at it, and I'll tell you guys why I think it works for both sides. Now, before we fully dive into the trade, I want to make sure you guys understand one thing. I believe John Wall is still an amazing player, but in this video, I'm going to be looking at a lot of things, including his age and his contract. So with that all being said, let's dive into the possible trade options for John Wall.
Attacking, going to the glass and lays it in.
Okay, so the one trade that has been popping out for me is a trade between the Suns and the Washington Wizards. The Suns are currently very desperate for a starting point guard, as currently they do not have any point guards on the roster besides Jamal Crawford. Jamal Crawford is currently not a very good player, if I'm being honest. John Wall to the Suns makes logical sense, as the Suns could compete for a playoff spot with John Wall. The starting lineup of John Wall, Devin Booker, TJ Warren, DeAndre Ayton, and I'm not sure who their power forward is, but whoever it is can actually make the playoffs in the West, in my opinion. I don't think they can make a serious playoff run, but I think they can definitely make the playoffs, which is more than what the Suns are looking for at the moment. I think John Wall to the Suns makes good basketball sense, as he probably will mesh pretty well with Devin Booker, who can score the ball and also play off ball, meaning John Wall can get his stats up. So for the Suns, this trade makes a lot of sense. Now let's take a look at the Wizards' point of view. Now the Wizards are going to be looking to move on from the team they've currently built, as they're clearly not going to win anything. So now that they're finally pushing the button on a reset, I believe that their best option is to build for the future. That's why in this trade scenario, I'm going to be keeping Bradley Beal, as I feel like he's going to be better in the future than John Wall, as he is only 25 at the moment. So I think Josh Jackson from the Suns will be the best young player they can get at the moment, as to be honest, John Wall does not have much trade value. Josh Jackson will fit very perfectly with the Washington Wizards. I think he'll be a great two-way partner with Bradley Beal, as he does play defense, and although he's not shooting very well this season, he can definitely shoot the three ball pretty decently. So as you look at it from both teams' point of view, this makes a lot of sense. And the one trade that I found that can work out for both teams in terms of contract and sense is this one trade I have right here. Now I know John Wall is clearly a much better player than Josh Jackson, but like I mentioned, there is a lot of different aspects going into this. But the one thing that's causing the Wizards from getting an all-star for John Wall is his contract. At the moment, he's only getting $19 million per year, but in the 2019-2020 season, he will be getting a massive extension. The extension that is being kicked in that season is a 4-year, $169 million deal. That is an insane amount of money. And the worst part of it is, at the final year of the contract, John Wall will be 33 years of age and will be getting paid $46 million per year, which is insane amounts of money, especially for a guard like John Wall, who heavily relies on his athleticism to score and to play make. When you take away his athleticism, he won't even be an all-star in my opinion. I just feel like once this contract extension kicks in, John Wall's trade value will quickly go down. As he ages, his game will likely not improve, as he does rely a lot on his athleticism. I feel like this mixture of contract and age issues plus his, well, to be honest, at the moment his shooting is very, very bad. It's always been bad for his career, and I just feel like a lot of teams do not want a starting point guard that cannot shoot. But still, this does not take away from John Wall's amazing defense, playmaking, and pretty good scoring at the moment. So this one trade that I've found works for both teams is John Wall and Jason Smith from the Washington Wizards heading to the Suns for Josh Jackson and Ryan Anderson. Now this makes a lot of sense for the Suns, as they will receive a good starting point guard who can help mentor Devin Booker and the young core. Jason Smith is also an alright bench player. He's not amazing, I don't think he's starting caliber, but he's still a very solid player. Off the bench, I believe he can help push the Suns into the playoffs, but the main part of this trade is John Wall. The Wizards, on the other hand, will receive Josh Jackson, who, like I said, will be a very good player for them and will help make rebuild process for the Wizards much smoother. Ryan Anderson, at the moment, he's not very good, I won't lie about that. His contract is also very poor in terms that it's not very good. He's getting paid, I believe, upwards of $15 million, which is very, very bad, especially for a guy who rarely gets playing time at the moment. So really the only reason Ryan Anderson is in this trade scenario is to match contracts. Like I said, John Wall has a $19 million contract right now, and then next year that huge $169 million contract extension will kick in. So yeah, for the Suns, they're going to be receiving a good starting point guard, also a decent bench player, while the Wizards will receive a young player in Josh Jackson, an alright stretch big in Ryan Anderson. Like I said before, this whole trade is just about Josh Jackson, as they need a young player to move on. And then the other thing they do get is the fact that they remove John Wall and his contract extension, as that will really keep the Wizards from succeeding. They won't really be able to do much with John Wall as their starting point guard, especially once he's 33 and getting paid $46 million. So for the second trade that I have, it is a trade between the Washington Wizards and the New Orleans Pelicans. I feel like the Pelicans could really use John Wall, as currently they are very desperate to convince Anthony Davis to re-sign long-term with the Pelicans. I feel like once they get John Wall onto that roster, I feel like Anthony Davis would realize that, hey, the front office is finally making moves in order to convince me to stay. I feel like John Wall with Anthony Davis would be a deadly duo and could make a serious push for the Western Conference Finals. Now, for the two untouchable players that I put on the Pelicans, it's pretty obvious. Anthony Davis, he is not going to get traded for John Wall. And the other player that's untouchable will be Jrue Holiday, as he is very good on the defensive end and on the offensive end, and he also plays very well with Anthony Davis. So the trade that I have set up here is the Washington Wizards will receive Nikola Mirotic and Julius Randle, while the Pelicans will receive John Wall. The Pelicans here benefit by putting John Wall onto the team. They can push Jrue Holiday to the 2 position. John Wall plays the 1, Anthony Davis the 5, which is, those 3 players are actually very good. I think that team could be deadly on both ends of the floor, could make a playoff push, and I think that's huge for the Pelicans. The Wizards, on the other hand, will receive Nikola Mirotic and Julius Randle, who are both playing very, very well. Nikola Mirotic is the perfect example of a stretch big right now, and he is killing it. He's averaging career highs all over the board. His shooting numbers are out of the roof, and I think the Wizards would love to have him on the team. I think moving forward, if they do want to continue making the playoffs, I feel like Mirotic will be that one person who could help keep them in the playoff picture. He is only 27 at the moment. His contract is $12 million a year, so it's not too bad if they want to continue making the playoffs. The other player I have on here is Julius Randle. I really like Julius Randle. He is a very good player. He is currently only 23 years of age, so he's still very young, a great young player they can have moving on forward. He does play the same position as Nikola Mirotic, but I think they can make it work if they can push Mirotic to the center position, having Julius Randle at the 4. I think those 2 players are huge for the Wizards, especially if they're going to keep Bradley Beal and if they want to continue pushing for the playoffs. I think this trade is very evenly done. Even if the Pelicans are not fully convinced by it, I feel like the Wizards can throw maybe a pick protected top 15, I don't know, a pick on there would make this trade very good. I personally really like it for the Washington Wizards, as they do get two very good bigs who are still fairly young, while the Pelicans get that one player who can push them from being a good team to a serious contending team. So let's recap the two trades we've seen. The first trade I said was Jason Smith, John Wall for Josh Jackson and Ryan Anderson. That trade, I think it's pretty even. I would say the Suns do get the advantage on that one, just because Josh Jackson is not looking like a very good player. His potential is not looking like it should be, but I think nevertheless he'll be a great player. Ryan Anderson, he's not a very good player. I'm not a huge fan of him. If he can improve his shooting, then maybe it's a okay deal, but I just don't like it as much as I like this Pelicans trade. Julius Randle, Nikola Mirotic for John Wall. I feel like it's the better trade for both sides. The Pelicans benefit greatly, become a contending team, while the Wizards can continue being a playoff team, while also setting themselves up for the future. I want you guys to let me know in the comments which trade you guys think is better. I personally like the Wizards and Pelicans one better. Let me know where you guys would love to see John Wall play. Personally, I'd like to see him play on the Lakers with LeBron James, but that's just me. Let me know where you guys would like to see John Wall play. But that's all for this video. Make sure to drop likes if you want to see more NBA videos like this. Subscribe to the channel, and peace.